Hello everyone, welcome to our audio podcast. For this video, we will talk about Filipino cultures, about superstitious belief that many Filipinos still believe, and we will share our own beliefs that we still practice in our own homes. Alongside with my comrades or group mates, Christian Michael Kalunod, Camille Brian Mariano, Jasmine Rose Padrilanan, and Eloria Niall Cabigon. And I am Dwayne Michael Aki, so may I request your attention please because we will begin momentarily. There are so many superstitious beliefs that many Filipinos still believe today. This is because our country, Philippines, have experienced a very long history of colonization by the Spanish, Americans, and Japanese that strongly influence our culture, traditions, and beliefs. Due to that reason, the colonization have a very big or enormous impact and extends as well as expand beyond knowledge, language, food, and into the many superstitions that many locals take it seriously. In my family or in our home, we also practice some beliefs like the number of steps of staircases at home should not be divisible by 3. Its definition is enter a Filipino household with a staircase and begin chanting with oro, which means gold, plata, silver, and mata, death, taking one step with each word. Most likely, upon reaching the top step, the chant will either end with oro or plata. This is because many Filipinos will go to the great lengths to avoid ending in mata, which denotes bad luck. The two preceding words, on the other hand, obviously denote good luck. So, we follow this belief because in our family or in our home, we want always good fortune and we will do our best to avoid the bad luck. Second is respecting the elementals. Filipino folklore is rich with a variety of elementals or creatures like Tiyanak, Kapre, and many more. Stories of these creatures fill the childhoods, but not just childhoods of many Filipino children, but also the adolescents, the adults, or even our elderly, inciting both intrigue and fear. Many superstitions still surround these beliefs in such creatures today. Among the most practiced is the saying of tabi-tabi ako or tabi-tabi ako, which means excuse me when passing through places where elementals are likely to dwell, or maybe if you are riding a vehicle, some will blow their horns when they are crossing a very sacred place that the elementals would dwell, just like big trees in the roads or even in small villages. These places are usually outdoors, such as anthills, balete trees, or even at the forest. Failure to do so and disturbing them may lead to an accident or unexplained sickness that can only be cured by an albularyo or faith healer or folk healer. Next is the do not travel before a major life event. The belief is that nearing milestone is often connected with a person's probability of getting into an accident. Whenever there is tragic news, Filipinos are likely to assume that the victim was more susceptible to accidents because the person was about to go through a major life event. For example, getting married, graduation, or going abroad, or even your upcoming birthday or the day of your birthday. Our theory is that this is just a result of hindsight bias, wherein people insist that they knew all along that something bad was going to happen. So that's all for my part. So what about you, Camille? What are the beliefs you believe and you still practice today?
Many Filipinos are superstitious. No matter how young and modern you are, your superstitious blood still flows in your veins. Growing up in a family with so many mythical beliefs is grueling. Maraming bawal. Sometimes you get surprised because Lola will scold you for doing something you didn't know was wrong. Can you still remember the common Filipino superstitions? One of these superstitious beliefs is that it is not encouraged, or more like bawal, to take a group picture of three, because they believe that the person in the middle will be the first to die. Funny, right? This is the most common Filipino superstition, scared teenagers in the 90s. Aminin mo, once in your life included an extra friend in the groupie. So none among the three of you will die. Apat dapat, as they say. The next superstition that most of the Filipino follows is that the sukob. This superstition advises against siblings marrying within the same year, as it is said to divide the luck between the two marriages. Another type of sukob advises against marriages within the same year as the death of an immediate family member. Do you believe in this superstition, your parents, or your family? Filipinos also believe that we should avoid getting a wound or injury on Good Friday because it will never heal. Why so? Our grandparents tell us not to get hurt on Biyernes Santo because that day is the day Jesus Christ died. Walang gagamot sa sugat o injuries mo. That's what they say. But you used to think about this myth when you were a kid and had wounds. Before we end our audio podcast, I just want to say, walang masamang maniwala. But always remember your luck and fate don't revolve around household or body stuff. You draw your fate on the choices you make in the present. So chill lang. As long as you make the right decision, you'll be fine. You're miles away from malas.
Yes. And my superstitious beliefs are never sweep the floor during the night because the grace will fly away. And grace means the money, and many people don't use that superstition right now in the 21st century because they say it will mess their house if you don't sweep. And the second is when you drop a spoon and fork, there will be a visitor or a guest or a passerby, which indicates a guy or a lady. And if you drop a spoon, they say a passerby will be a girl or a lady or anything that's in a female. And if you drop a fork, a passerby will be a man or a gender that is a male. And my third is never bring foods at a wake because they say a soul will follow you, or the soul of the dead will follow you and hunt you down because you bring a food that belongs to them. Yes, that's all. How about yours?
Number 1. Turn your shirt inside out if you are lost. It is customary to invert your shirt inside out if you are lost or confused when trekking or hiking mountain trails in the Philippines. This practice is based on the premise that nature's elementals are playing tricks on you. and so turning your clothes inside out will confuse them. Second, don't go straight home after attending a wake. Superstitions surrounding wakes are among the most widely practiced by Filipinos still today. Visitors should not make the mistake of taking any home with them, as it signifies inviting misfortune into your home. So the last one is the third, do not sleep when your hair is wet. The belief is if you sleep with your hair wet, you could go blind or crazy. This was taught by my mother and my grandma. There is no medical basis behind this, and you won't catch a cold from sleeping with wet hair. The closest medical connection would be higher susceptibility to fungus, spores, and mold when wet hair keeps pillows damp for a long period of time. So what about Eloria? What's your superstitious beliefs?
There are many superstitious beliefs that still exist in modern times. So the examples are: number 1, do not take a picture with two people as one of you, especially the one in the middle will die. Number 2, do not walk over someone who is lying down, as he or she won't grow taller. Number 3, a grain of rice or trains will get up from your wound, so you should be careful. Number 4, do not sleep when you are hungry, as your spirit will go out from your body and will look for food, then it will trap inside the rice pot. Number 4, do not sleep wet hair or you will go crazy or bald. Number 6, jump high on New Year's Eve to grow taller. Number 7, when you accidentally bite your tongue, pick a number and determine its corresponding letter in the alphabet. It is believed that the first person who comes to your mind after determining the letter just thought of you, bite out of you. Number 9, bite your fingers after pointing at trees or something bad will happen next. So, a lot of superstitious belief have been part of the Filipino culture, being passed on from one generation to another. Despite that most of this have no valid explanation or reason behind, still superstitions continue to live through the word of mouth. Some use this to scare kids and make them follow something. So in the present day, many Filipino still believe in superstitions, especially those people who live in provinces. They are really strict when it comes to pamahiin or superstition, mostly in wedding and funeral. Filipinos still believe in superstitions to give respect and honor to our ancestors.
So that's all for our podcast about superstitious belief, we believe, and as well as the Filipinos. Thank you for listening.